Hi everyone, I'm Dhanush and today I have with me Sriyans. Hi, hi Sriyans. How are you?
Good.
Alright, could you say hi to our audience?
Hi, everyone.
Alright, so Sriyans is from MIT Manipal Institute of Technology and he is here with us to share his 4-year experience and give you guys a glimpse of what you will be entering into this year. Alright, Sriyans, for the benefit of our audience, could you please introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing currently?
No, yeah, sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Sriyans, and I am in my 8th semester in Manipal right now, doing my internship. I'm an intern at Fidelity Information Services, and yeah, so I'm from Hyderabad, and I'm just here on the request of my friend to share my thoughts about my college.
Very well, Sriyans. Thank you so much. So, guys, without delaying any further, I'll just cut right to the chase, which is Manipal really a good college to go in 2025? Could you please answer that?
So, it's a good question, but it has a lot of context if you need a good answer to it. But in general, if you are willing to use every opportunity that comes your way and make the best out of it, then yes, Manipal is a pretty fantastic college to join.
It still seems like a very generic answer. And anyway, I'd like to go into a few specific topics, and I'm willing to get a few insights from you. So, could you walk us through your 4-year journey? What was it like? So, I'm guessing, I mean, of course, you're from the 2021 batch, 2021 to 2025 batch. So, starting from 2021, as I understand, it was during COVID. So, I'm guessing even you had your initial semesters in online mode. So, how did you feel about your first year and onwards? Could you talk about that a little? Walk us through your 4-year journey, basically.
Yeah, sure. So my first semester was online due to COVID time, and I went to college in my second semester. So my first year in college in general, like I'm counting my days only from the time I went to college, not the online semester. So from then on, the first year was more fun. I was busy exploring, making new friends, looking at the places in and around Manipal, exploring the college in general. The second year was quite tough because that is when you enter your core subjects which you have picked, and it's a drastic shift if you compare it to 11th and 12th because I mean everything changes, the teaching style, the learning style, everything changes, and the third year you get used to it, and then you sort of soar through it normally. And in the fourth year, the final sem is an internship, which is what I'm doing right now, and in 4-1, which is the seventh semester, it was more fun and quite relaxed compared to the other years. So that is in a very brief way how the 4 years went.
Oh, very good. All right. Thank you for that. So, as I understand, Manipal seems to be a very scenic place with so many places to explore, and we'll talk more about it later. But so, tell us this, Sriyans. So, when somebody walks into Manipal in 2025, what kind of an environment are they walking into? What kind of a place are they entering into? What should they expect when they're walking in? What is the mood over there and everything? Could you please tell us that?
Yeah, so this is an interesting question to answer. Takes me back to my first day in Manipal. So when the first time you enter into Manipal, the one thing you will notice, unless you're from an area like Chennai, is it's extremely humid, and it's almost like you're entering into a different world when you go into the college, especially at night, because Manipal has a beautiful nightlife, and there's a lot of students. Like, it's always very lively outside, especially in the season where there's a lot of intake. Basically, the August month kind of when you go into college. It's very lively, and you see people everywhere. There's a lot of shops. There are landmarks in Manipal, like for example, we call Kamat Circle or Student Plaza, which is in the center, and there's fountains and everything. It's not something what you would expect out of a normal college if you're from a very modest family, and it's quite fun actually. You feel like you have entered a different world, and you're just filled with excitement to explore it more and more.
All right, understand. So you're telling me that there's a very warm welcome, quite literally and figuratively, and that students will really like the welcome that they'll be getting. So, having said that, tell me, Sriyans, what are a few things that students must and should do as and when they enter, like immediately, something that they have to do, which will definitely do them a great amount of help. Could you tell me that in all domains,
The immediate thing which you need to do as soon as you step out of the taxi or car or however you reach Manipal is go to the nearest store and buy yourself an umbrella.
Okay.
Because Manipal is located right beside Agumbe Hills, which is the highest rainfall, in India as of now, and Chirapunji is probably the highest, but it's kind of in Bangladesh. So India, Agumbe Hills is the highest rainfall, and there's always rain in Manipal no matter what. And in Manipal, we have this popular saying: you leave golden ornaments outside, probably it won't get stolen. You leave an umbrella for 5 minutes, it will get stolen for sure. And I have a lot of people, my friends themselves, who got their umbrella stolen. So buy yourself an umbrella first. And then Manipal is an extremely huge campus, humongous. So make yourself some friends. Don't feel lonely while you're in college. Go out, talk to people, and make sure you have a group, to roam around, a group to go to class to, a group, to go and have lunch, dinner, and make sure you know people in your hostel so that you can knock on someone's door when you feel lonely or when you feel like you want to connect. And the most important thing, there is this ritual in Manipal where the first year hostel, as soon as the intake happens and everyone comes in, you are going to hear a knock on your door almost at midnight and answer that door. Rest all is it's better if it's a suspense.
Okay, sounds quite interesting and a little sus as well. Anyway, you guys don't forget an umbrella. But from my visit to Manipal, I don't really remember it raining at that time, but I think I was just lucky. Anyway, so people just need to carry an umbrella all the times, and once they enter, they have to make sure they're socializing well with people. It might not necessarily be the group that they are spending the rest of the 4 years, but still they have to socialize to make sure they're fitting in, right? All right. All right, Sriyans, that's good. Talk to me about the academics. So Manipal, it's quite known for various diverse things, and a few of them are not really good. But talk to me about the academics. What kind of exposure can a student get in terms of education? How is it over there? How are the professors over there? How's the study culture over there? What kind of courses do you get to do, and what kind of exam patterns that you guys follow, and what is the grading system that you guys follow, and how easy or difficult is it for a student to clear the Manipal exams? Please talk to me about all of these, maybe briefly.
Yeah. So when you talk about Manipal academics, that's an extremely interesting thing to talk about. I'll give you a statistic to start off. Manipal usually takes around 2,500 people every year. In my first year, out of 2,500, 1,400 failed in maths. And
Don't scare my audience.
so, no, I was lucky enough to get an A plus, and I got an award in class for the highest marks in math when 1,400 failed. So the exams is they depend on how you take them. So Manipal academics are quite rigorous. Not something you see in every college, as far as what I've heard from my friends in other colleges. I'm not speaking about IITs, the tier 2, tier 3 colleges. So the academics are extremely rigorous because Manipal tests you in a way which most colleges don't. So there's no textbook and there's no answer. So for example, I'll give you an example from one of my third year subjects, I think. So we had this subject called cybersecurity.
Right.
So in cybersecurity, we were taught about lots of things, encryption algorithms, cyber attacks, and everything. The question in the exam paper, one which I still vividly remember, it was something along these lines. The question was, imagine you are the owner of a company and you have so and so number of systems, computers in your office. Now all of them show a particular error or stop working for whatever reason. Tell me what the reason is. So it's an extremely detailed question, almost like a passage which you see in unseen comprehensions that big, and you're asked to give reasons why this happened, give logical explanation for why you think that is the reason, and give the solution to fix it. Right. So Manipal tests you on a very application-based front. So that is something that is kind of unique to Manipal, and the one thing which people don't really understand is that Manipal has a lot of tests, a lot. At one point we calculated something like it was halfway through college and probably we have already written something around 280 tests. So we had a lot of tests in Manipal because 50 marks is the end sem. And out of which...
Okay, tell me about the different tests that are there. What's the curriculum?
Yeah,
Basically?
so you have 50 marks as the end sem.
Okay.
And the total scoring for you is 100 marks.
Okay.
So the 50 other has to be, you need to get them through the internal tests.
All right.
Out of which I think 30 marks is your mid sem. Okay. So you have 2 mids, sometimes 1. Manipal keeps changing it all the time. Okay. The only reason is this is not something the teachers define. Okay. The testing pattern is chosen by the students, how they want to get tested. So we have a student council and the CRs of every class, right. The class representatives, they form a council and they go and we have a class committee meeting. So right. All of them raise their concerns in the class committee meetings, and over there they have quite a good percentage liberty to choose what kind of exam pattern they want. So right. During our time, we changed our exam patterns just because we liked it that way.
So for every exam you can do that?
Yeah, so for example, when I went in, there was only one mid-sem for 30 marks. And then we decided it was, it's a do or die if there's only one mid. There's no scope if you, score less.
In the next mid if you score
yeah, it's very less. So what we did was, we asked them to make it 2 mids, so 15 marks each. And it was done. So we had a lot of 5-mark tests, because right. You get 50 and 30 is still 80 marks. So you need to get 20 marks more right. Through internals. So we had a lot of 5-mark tests. 5 into 4 is 20. So 4 5-markers. And those could be surprise tests, open book assessments, or could be anything.
So and each subject had a 5-mark test?
a lot of 5 mark tests. So we decided, it's very tough. So for example, if you're losing, like if you're scoring half, okay, in every 5 mark test, you're effectively losing 10 marks over there itself.
Right.
So it's very tough to score over there because no one studies every day in college. So we appealed and we got it converted to 2 10-mark tests. So the exam patterns are at the liberty of the class committee. That is one, I think, very good thing about Manipal.
So you're telling me that so there's basically a 50 end sem paper, a 50 marks ka end sem paper, and the other 50 is again divided into culmination of mid sem exams and furthermore internal exams. And the mid sem is for a total of 30 marks, be it 1 mid or 2 mid. It is shortly for 30 marks. It's capped over there. All right. And whether you have single mid or double 2 mids is up to the entire student community. All right. And the remaining 20 marks, you're telling me there'll be 5 mark tests, 4 tests like that for each subject. Of course, it could be anything.
Usually that's how it is.
So each subject has 4 tests, each for 5 marks each. All right. Or you can also have a 10 mark exam 2 times.
Yeah, or you can have 2 5-markers and 1 10-marker also. Could be any pattern.
Okay, so there's no definitive structure, as in what kind of an exam pattern one can expect over there.
Yeah, that is, like I said, it's because of what the student committee votes. You can choose your exam pattern, so they keep changing all the time.
All right. So also I understand you write the exams on an iPad sort of a thing where it stops just when 3 hours hit, something like that. Can you talk to us about how you guys are graded as well as how this exam is conducted?
So yeah, Manipal has e-pads, and
Do you have to purchase them or
no, the college provides you with e-pads.
Alright.
So when you go into college, there's a training session where you get trained on how to write on the e-pads. Now, I actually kind of missed the training session during my time because see, we get mails on Outlook, okay, and the mail was So your mail was basically, it said you can attend the e-pad session. E-pad orientation session was from 9 to 11. Now I thought you could go anytime between 9 and 11.
Oh.
But it was like an exam. You had to be there for 2 hours.
Right.
That is not something I knew. So I went at 10:30.
Okay.
And so that was one huge issue. But yeah, so these kinds of things happen in Manipal. So we have e-pads, and you write your tests on them. You can write MCQs. You can draw your own diagrams. It's like an iPad, but a very light model of it.
Apple Pencil, but then a much more easier version of it.
Yeah, so the pencil is quite light and it's not as well calibrated as an iPad is, but it gets the job done. So you have the e-pads, you write on them, and that is for the mid-sems and the end-sems, not every test. So when you have open book assessments and all, they're on pen and paper.
Oh, there are open book assessments as well.
Yeah, so all the...
Are these 5 markers that you told?
Yeah, so in the 5 markers or the 10 markers, depends on what the scheme is when you go in.
Whatever those 20 mark, what is remaining? Those tests.
Yeah, so for those tests, you have open book assessments. If it's an open book, if it's if it's a surprise test, and when I say open book, you can only have your notes, not a textbook. So you have your notes, you can open them, you can refer to them, and you can directly solve problems. And if you actually maintain notes,
okay.
Sometimes
this question, sorry for interrupting. So is it officially required by the college for any student to maintain a set of notes in a particular platform?
No. So there is no requirement. You just maintain notes if you want to, or else no. So for example, in my first year, I had detailed notes, which I even sold to my juniors after I finished my first year. But in the subsequent years, there was nothing. I didn't write notes because it was not necessary. I was in computer science, not much theory. So depends on you. But if you have notes, you can open them and you can answer your tests. So there is that. So that's how the e-pads are. And coming to the grading system which you asked, our grading system is relative. So yeah. So let me
just explain what relative grading is.
Yeah, sure. So what relative grading means is, for example, if you guys understand statistics, any of you, all your marks are spread across a normal distribution curve, and the mean which is there, that is considered a certain grade, and your distance from the mean is the grade you get. So if the mean is B, then the distance from there could be A plus, and further down could be C, D and all.
Explain with an example, please.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't get statistics as much, for example, the class topper you have is A plus. Just imagine the class topper is A plus.
Like all subjects together, he got a total grade of A plus in that semester.
No, because grading is given per subject. So
okay.
For each subject, so say for example you're doing math 1 and the class topper is A plus.
Right.
So the class lowest, so for example out of 50 marks, you need to get 18 marks in the end sem to pass, a minimum.
Okay.
18 marks. So even for example, your internals are full. So you got 50 on 50 in the internals. And you didn't score 18 marks in the final exam, you will still fail. So you need to get a minimum mark of 18 in the final exams for sure.
Is there a requirement for the other 50 of the internal also to be above a certain threshold? Or
Oh no, there is no requirement in the internals. Only for the external final exam there's no external because we are a university ourselves. So, but you need to get 18 marks in the final exam to pass.
Right.
So that is one basic requirement. Now once you cross that, say a majority of people, what the major,
Topper got A plus.
yeah, say the topper got A plus.
Out of
Okay.
50, he got whatever marks which put him in the A plus category.
Yeah, so it depends. Okay, so it's actually, when we say it's relative grading, it's not completely relative. Also, the reason is there is a certain threshold for the grades. So, for example, if someone is getting below 80 marks, say the topper got below 80 marks, he still can't get an A plus. So the class highest will be A or B in that case. So there's no reason that the topper has to be an A plus. The thing is, you need to cross certain thresholds to get a grade. So below 80, no matter how high you are ranked in the entire university, you might be the university topper, you might still end up with an A or B. So there is no guarantee that the topper will get an A plus. The thing is, what the maximum number of people get is considered a certain grade, probably C or something. I'm not entirely sure. From there, the distance from that person to your marks is what determines your grade.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is a little tough to explain in layman's terms because this is something the computer does, grading us. The teachers don't grade us. They just enter our marks, and the computer, like I said, if you understand statistics, it makes a normal distribution curve. The reason why you can't explain this without normal distribution is, so for example, like I said, the median of the class, the mean of the class, what maximum people have got is, say for example, that is ranked as C. Okay, so now you have B, A and A plus ahead of C.
So A plus is the highest grade in college.
Yeah, and below C you have D and D. F is fail. So if you need to get, so for example, you got certain marks, okay, out of 100, probably 50 is what is considered as, say, C grade. Just an example. Now, they calculate something known as the standard deviation. So you just add the standard deviation. Say 10 is the standard deviation, okay. So 50 plus 10 is what? 60. That is where the grade shifts. So okay. 60 is B, plus 10, 70 is A, 80 is A plus.
Okay.
So that's kind of how, so minus also. So 50 minus 10 is 40, that's where D is. And 40 minus 10 is 30, that's where E is. Below that is F. So that's kind of how the grades are calculated.
All right. Okay, guys, I think this may be a little tricky for understanding, but never mind. You guys just work on the subjects, try to get the highest marks. And so coming to the main point, how well can a person prepare themselves to get the highest marks or to be in that good category? It's my understanding, because even I have done BTech, that it's not necessary to be a topper to do well in general. So, but still, to be in the good bracket, what kind of study patterns should a student follow to get the good grade of marks? Please tell that. And what did you follow?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a trick question because the study patterns differ based on your branch. So for computer science, through computer science till EC, there's not much technicality. There's not much theory. Probably EC has a lot of theory, but above that, there's not much theory. So you focus on technical skills, you focus on coding, you focus on edge cases and all. That's how the questions are. So because, even you did IT, so you will know that, for example, if you're preparing something like OOPS, the question in the Java paper will be, they're going to give you a code and ask if it's a compile error or a runtime error. Now, those are some things which you need to understand the code deeply to answer such questions. So there is that. But for theory, just make sure, you keep revising theory because what I used to do was, we get PPTs, okay. For some subjects, all PPTs combined was over 1,000 slides long. So that's almost as good as reading an entire textbook, over 1,000 pages. So what we used to do was, so I was kind of well known in the friend circle for this because I used to read the entire PPT because I could read fast. I used to read the entire PPT, just glance through, not remember anything. Just understand the structure of the PPT because you look at page number 1 and then you look at page number probably 72. They look like completely different topics. But if they are being taught under the same subject, that means there is something unifying them. You need to figure out what the common point is. It's like a tree. So you have, say, computer networks, then you branch out IPv6, IPv4, then you come back to the other protocols, and then you branch out over there, TCP, IP, and then, so you need to understand where everything is branching from. So you need to, climb up the tree and find out what the common points are. So I used to do that. Take one sheet of A4 paper, just write what the common point is, and below that, make sure you put on all the, subheadings. And in the subheadings, just put arrow marks. Don't write anything in detail. Just mention. So, for example, computer networks. First one is cyber attacks. If that is being taught as part of computer networks, mention those protocols. Write the names of all the protocols. Then probably something else. Payloads and whatnot, headers and whatnot. So you can do this. So once you do this, then it's much easier for you to remember everything because after reading 1,000 slides, if you're preparing, say there's 10 chapters which are making 1,000 slides, and you're preparing one sheet per chapter, it doesn't take more than that. Effectively, you need to read 10 sheets instead of 1,000 pages. Now, because you remember all the side headings and you know how to remember them because you have interlinked them with arrows and all, it's quite easy for you to fill the descriptions because you will either listen in class or study or your friend is going to teach you before the exam. But writing a description is not a tough thing. Most of us struggle to write the side headings. Remember what the description was for. So this is the format I used to use. And one cheat trick which I recently am using, not for college but for personal purposes, is Spotify to remember stuff. Yeah. So what I would do is, I read a lot of literature, so I need to remember a lot of poems and all. I read Sanskrit and Telugu literature. So for that, what I do is just record the poem, add it as an audio file in Spotify because you can import local files. Add it as an audio file, and once you do that, just listen to that instead of songs. You listen to something 10 times, you will remember it for sure.
Okay, this is something interesting. He didn't tell me this till now. So okay, so that's an effective method you suggest.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So tell me about the first year subjects that students will have. Is it common, irrespective of the branch that they are in? Are the students going to have common subjects in the first year in 1-1 and 1-2, or are there different subjects? And is there anything that's common with their 12 studies? I mean, 12 subjects or anything like that? And how best to perform in those? Because I hear that what grade you get in first year is something kind of creates a trajectory of your for the 3 years grade. So how best to get it in first year when you're new to all of this? Please tell it simply.
Yeah. So what you raised is a valid point. I'll give you my example. The semester I went to college, second sem, where, like I said, a lot of people failed. My CGPA was 9.23. GPA, I must say, because it's for one semester. It was 9.23. In the subsequent 2 semesters, I scored 7.5 and 7.7. Now, because of that 9.23, I didn't fall below 8.5 yet.
Oh, interesting.
So
I think it's significant to have a good score in the first year itself, especially where a relative grading kind of system is in place, to make sure it's not going below even if you don't perform well in the subsequent semesters. Right?
yeah, so that is the gist of it. That's why scoring well in the first year is important. Now,
Right, so how did you do that? Like, how can it's understood that you're a very well-read person or a very highly studious person, which is not the case with me or most of the audience, I guess. I don't know. But for somebody who's scared or who's scared of maths or other subjects which they might encounter in first year, what's the best way for them to get a decent enough score, at least, if not the nine graders, which I think is very much possible? What's the best way they can do to get a good enough mark?
yeah, so I'm not studious in any way. I used to waste while away my time a lot in first year. I studied probably 1 month before the exams. But the reason I scored well, no, not even 1 month. I remember it was 2 weeks. So the reason I scored well is because I never skipped classes. So
Okay,
whatever
don't
was
skip classes.
whatever was taught in class, I used to write them down on my paper. Understand it?
On the spot or after going to the
No, on the spot.
All right.
The reason is you understand it or not is a separate issue. You will go back to your room. When you read it, you have doubts. You can always call up your professor and ask. I still have numbers of professors on my phone. I used to call them up, ask them to meet me somewhere, and I used to get my doubts clarified. So that is something you can do anytime if you don't understand it. So there were people who are scared of a few subjects. Like you said, math is something a lot of people are scared of. They probably second place is physics. So these are some subjects where people are usually scared of. But the best trick for you to tackle such situations is to find a good friend group.
Okay.
If you have a friend group who is studying, doesn't have to be toppers, but the fact that you're putting an effort, going to the library or sitting together in some spot, someone's room in the hostel and studying, you will be motivated to at least open your book, if not anything else. When you open your book, you'll glance through 2 or 3 pages. That is one thing that helps a lot. So if you're with a friend group who just wants to get drunk and wasted, you're out of the race anyway. So that is one thing I would suggest. The other thing is write down everything in class. And for us, in first year, the math questions which were there of 3D calculus, the questions which were taught in class, without changing the values, they were repeated in the test. Now, no one wrote notes, no one knew. So if you just remember, even if you don't understand, you have put in all your efforts, you're still scared, you don't understand, okay, I get it. But if you just remember everything line by line as it is, even if you don't know how to solve the problem, that's it. You will at least score 75% minimum if you can remember everything.
All right. So from this, I think it's the takeaways I should say are firstly going to classes regularly without missing, and then writing notes of whatever is being taught, whether or not you're understanding, listening. Just try to listen what they're saying, the professors, and make a notes of it, and then refer to those notes, and then have a friend group or a study group, which kind of creates an environment for you to get into that space of learning. All right. Now that's number 3, and I think that's well said, Sriyans. Okay, so tell me about attendance policy. Now that we mentioned about going to the classes regularly, and of course, engineering there's so much bunking. So, what's the attendance policy like, and how strict are they?
Yeah, so usually in most colleges, what happens is you have a 75% attendance policy, and if you fall short, you're going to pay a penalty, and then you will be permitted to write the final exam. Okay. That's how it is in many colleges. So in Manipal, you have a 75% attendance policy. If you fall sick, you broke your leg or something, and you have, medical certificates from Kasturba KMC, which is the hospital in Manipal, and it is ranked almost second best to AIMS as of now.
Again, this comes under MAHE.
Yeah, this comes
is
under
Manipal,
Academy of Higher Education.
And even MIT is also a branch of
Yeah,
institution.
MAHE is the university. MIT is the engineering college.
Right.
Yeah, so
Medical certificate from
KMC,
is
yes.
something that's accepted.
Yeah, that
the
is
only
accepted.
certificate which is accepted.
Yes, so that is accepted, and you get free consultation if you're a student.
Suppose,
Yeah, and even the
although we
medicines.
don't want anybody to be in a situation that they have to consult and get treatment. But yeah.
But yeah, so even the medicines are offered to you at a very discounted rate. That is there, and so a friend of mine got a leg operation done. Everything included, it was 1,800 rupees.
Very good. Very good. That's
So that's kind of how they take care of their students, and so that if that is there, then you can reduce it a little further, probably till 65% or something like that, provided you have valid reasons. But
medical
if,
one of them. What else can be a valid reason?
that's it. There is
Only
no
medical.
And if you're a part of the student council,
Okay.
you get a lot of attendance concessions.
We'll talk about that later. But
Yeah, so there's that. Now, the thing is, if you fall short, apart from these reasons, for casual reasons, you can't pay penalty and rewrite the final exam. You will have to repeat the entire semester. There's no other option. Manipal is extremely strict with the attendance policy. You can't pay penalties and write the final exam. You have to repeat the semester with your juniors. And trust me, it is not something you would want to do.
all right. So that's actually scary because even in my college, there's a 75% threshold. But as you mentioned, we had a penalty payment kind of a system where after doing that, we were still allowed to write the exams. All right. So having said that, what's the final takeaway of your 4 years from Manipal? What's something you want to tell people joining over there? Is it because, as I understand, the exams are tough. They want you to actually learn the subject, and they have set the bar high. So keeping all these in mind, all these things in mind, what is something you want to tell people? Is it still a very good place for mediocre students as well to go, or is it difficult? And how do you want to conclude this particular session with you in terms of person joining Manipal? By all means, education mainly.
Yeah, so even if you're a mediocre student, don't worry. You're going to pass. And with the help of friends, you'll probably pass with a very good grade and CGPA. And one thing I'm telling you, based on personal experience with all my heart, is when you go to Manipal, once you come out of Manipal, I'm not sure what kind of engineer you'll be, or I'm not sure what kind of a person you'll be, but you will have learned how to live life. That is the only thing I can say for sure about Manipal.
I think that applies to every student of every engineering college, myself included. So, all right, that's good. Although now that we have it, talk to me about clubs. Are there many clubs, and how's the club life like? Just briefly, in 1 or 2 minutes.
Yeah, so depends on what kind of clubs you're talking about.
The ones which are available in the college for students to join, not something which requires you to be over 21 age.
Not in Manipal. So, there's a lot of clubs and student projects. There's a very clear distinction between both of them. Student projects get a lot of funding from the college, sometimes in lakhs, and clubs don't have any funding. That is the basic difference. Now, these are academic or you can say extracurricular communities which are founded by the students itself. This is not something that is started by the college, and the college has no say over this. This is completely autonomous to the students. So each club and student project have their own flagship events which are portrayed during either the cultural fest or the technical fest of the college. So now it's all the student projects, especially not the clubs. The student projects are the process of getting in and staying in the student project is an extremely edifying process, and you will get to learn a lot of things because it is your seniors who are going to give you tasks and they are going to judge you. And trust me, they are more merciless than the teachers. And so, for example, for all the student projects, they're going to give you a task, and the deadline for submission is 11:59 p.m. Not 12, 11:59. Now, if you submit by 11:58, you're going to get grilled because why did it take so long? Why not 10? Why not the previous day? So even if you submit the previous day, why not 1 hour before? They just want to grill you completely, and surviving that is tough, very tough. But once you get through that and get into a student project, you will experience a different life in college for sure compared to the ones who are not there. But that is something we can probably explore on in one of the other episodes which we do, because there's a lot of depth we can go through in those aspects.
Yeah. Understood. Thanks for that. Although there's something else I want to talk about. Talk to me about research. So you have mentioned that the university funds certain things, right? So I'm guessing research is one of them, R&D. And it's my understanding that you yourself have been a research student, a scholar under a professor or a few professors and have published a few papers as well. So, how's the research culture over there for somebody who wants to go deeper into the subject and do something? Just tell me about that for a minute.
Yeah, sure. So Manipal has a good research culture. I won't say it's the best, but it's certainly good. Most of the teachers have PhDs, and the ones who don't have PhDs are the ones you should actually go hold on because they are trying to get their PhD done anyway. So they're going to give you opportunities which the PhDs probably won't. And yeah, so the college funds, our college has a partnership with IEEE, and if you publish in IEEE, so irrespective, actually, you can publish in any journal, you don't have to pay a single rupee. The college is going to bear all the cost. And sometimes actually publishing one paper is in lakhs, and the college is going to pay all of it. There's no thing, but only if you publish in IEEE Access, the college has some tie-up with it, so you'll have some quota or something like that, which I don't fully understand. But doing research is actually quite fun. You will, so forget about you personally, forget about what you learn and all. You will be respected differently among your friend groups if you have a research paper published, that is for sure.
How many research papers have you published?
So I have published one till now, and I have two more in the line. So hopefully it should be 3.
Okay, that's amazing. All right, so that's pretty good. And I also understand you have participated in a lot of hackathons and a few other inter-college and intra-college events. A few of them that you have even won, even a few national level competitions. Just for the purpose of understanding of what a student can actually achieve beyond academics in college, can you tell us what kind of competitions did you participate in and what all did you win?
Yeah, so I took part in some CTFs and hackathons. Most notable one being
What is CTF?
the CTF is Capture the Flag. So it's a cybersecurity event, and so most notable achievement of mine is probably 2023 software edition of Smart India Hackathon. So we came first. And probably everyone knows Smart India Hackathon as of now.
So it's basically a competition held nationwide. So you have won first prize. Yeah. Nationwide.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's a cybersecurity, product which we have built in 36 hours. And actually, the product
Was there a cash prize?
yeah, so we won 1 lakh for it, and the product which we have built is currently being used by the Indian government.
Really?
Yeah, so NTRO is the head of the cybersecurity wing in India, and they are currently using our product, and they have offered all of us internships in NTRO after we won. Okay. But by that time, I already had an internship at ISRO. So I couldn't go to NTRO, but the others who participated, they developed the product further, and then AICTE, it's so All India Council for Technical Education. AICTE gave us a 2 lakh funding to convert this product into a startup. So that is probably the most notable hackathon which I've won.
All right. So you have participated in quite a few, and one of the major ones is the Smart India Hackathon. Right. Also, now it's a very important topic. Internships, placements, these kind of things. So how are the placements like in your college, and from which semester are you typically allowed to enroll yourself into internships? And how are the placements in general? How is that arena? Could you please tell us?
Yeah, so placements in college are, they vary every year. But for our case,
Give us an average understanding.
yeah, so there's a lot of companies that come last time. I think every year the highest paid company is usually Palo Alto. It takes one student and pays around probably 67 lakhs or something. So that is probably the highest placement one can get in the college, and it takes only one student. So there's that, and then so in your third year you'll get quite a few companies for internships, and if you don't miss out on those, there's a very good chance you'll be converted
Into full-time employees.
into full-time employees, and that is one opportunity which I think no one should waste.
So that happens in 3-1 or 3-2?
Oh, this is a good question. I actually don't remember. But you will be updated through WhatsApp groups and your Outlook and everything. The placement department does a fantastic job of taking care of all of this. So they are going to update you everything. We have a Neopat portal for, just for placements. So there's all of that, and it's a very sophisticated and it's quite a streamlined process.
So you're telling me that there's a good placement culture, and typically students generally get placed, and there's a good chance they'll get good companies where they can join. Okay, Tell us about the statistics of placement of your batch. About how many students have applied, what was the total strength, how many have applied, and what was the total number of placement that your batch has recorded? So
placements get skewed all the time, placement statistics, because when you go further down, below EEE, chemical, civil, mechanical, they don't get placed usually in any college, even in the IITs. They get extremely low placements. And
give me a number.
So people who are doing that go for masters. So not considering that, you have lowest packages somewhere around 3.54 LPA. The mass recruiters, Infosys and all, Capgemini and all. Highest, like I said, Palo Alto gives 67.
That's just one student, but apart from that.
Yeah, then you have a lot of NVIDIA came 11 times for us for 11 different roles. Microsoft came during the internship season.
What is the average package?
of the entire college.
Of the industry.
You can consider the median somewhere around 12-ish.
12.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good number.
It always keeps varying, but you can consider anything between 8 and 12 for sure.
8 and 12.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. I think that's a decent number considering the fact that many colleges still have their average between 4 to 6 or 7. So I'd say that. All right. I think we've covered a broad spectrum of topics at this moment. Although there are a lot of other topics that we should definitely talk about college life, student life, more on the clubs, what kind of clubs are there, what to do and what not to do, and what places to explore, and of course relationships, and a few other topics which might interest the audience even more. So I think that's about it for this particular session, and I thank you very much for spending your time here. I hope you guys have gotten a much better understanding about Manipal in general, and I hope you guys benefit out of this video as well as from Manipal of your 4 years. That's about it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you, Sriyans. See you again in the next one.